Hi Gastro Pals, it's Tiny Small Fry here again. Who doesn't like pizza? I know I do, and I found this really easy recipe for making a cracking pizza base and the pizza sauce, and it's just brilliant. So I thought I'd share it with you, so let's have a go. So in this bowl we have 300 grams of self-raising flour. We've also got half a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. Now you can see it's not mixed yet, so we're going to swizz it round with a wooden spoon and then we're going to sift it again, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Right, so here is our 300 grams of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder and a half teaspoon of salt, all mixed together and sieved again. And now to this we're going to add 300 grams of yoghurt. Right, so now we need to mix that together with a fork to make a dough. So now you can see it's getting nearly into a dough here, so I'm going to have to get my hands in there and get a little bit dirty, which obviously is a bit difficult trying to film and do that, but it's fun. So let's see where we go. So you can see there it's starting to bind together. I'm going to need to get some more flour because the dough's a bit on the wet side. So now you can see it's pretty much a dough. I've got a little bit of wet sticky dough still on my hands, but a bit difficult because the bowl keeps moving around. I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand. I may invest in tripods one day, who knows. Here we go. There's the dough done, which we're going to set aside, and quite simple, I'm sure you'll agree. 300 grams of self-raising flour, 300 grams of yoghurt, a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. Quite simple. We'll set it aside, and now we're going to make the sauce. And this sauce you can also use for putting with gnocchi, and also use it for putting on spaghetti and stuff like that, as well as topping pizzas. So let's get busy making the sauce. So now this is the simplest sauce I've ever made. So I've got a tin of tomatoes, and basically mine I've got herbs. I've got chopped tomatoes with herbs, and basically they go in, and then we add into that a pinch or two of caster sugar. Now if you can't get tin tomatoes with herbs, then they're slightly cheaper to buy it without herbs. You can then chuck your own herbs in, about a teaspoon, as much as you like really, and then we're going to put a garlic clove in here. So right, can't do this one-handed. That's now bubbling away quite furiously, so knock the heat down and we leave that to simmer for about 10 minutes or until it's thickened up. Just keep an eye on it, and while we're doing that we'll go away and make our bases. So it's been literally just a little bit over 10 minutes now, and just taking that off. As you can see, it's reduced down nicely. So now let's go back to the pizza bases. So I've taken the pizza dough and I've divided it into 5. This actual recipe suggests to do 4, but there's 5 of us. We've got a few other little bits of extra stuff to go with it. So I think this sort of size pizza is more than enough for a big boy like me. So on the rolling mat, what I've got there is actually ground rice rather than flour, and the reason for that is it gives it that nice little rustic, crispy, crusty texture to it, sort of thing you get in a shop bought pizza from a takeaway. So obviously, holding an iPad and trying to record me rolling the pizza base is not going to be a grand plan. I really haven't thought this one through, have I? But I'm going to roll the pizza out into as close a proximity as a circle as I can, and then I'll show it to you and move on to the next base. So that's just damn it a circle, it'll do. You know, this is not a geometry test, this is cooking. So what we need to do now is I've got a hot pizza tray in the oven. I need to bring that out, put this on it and bake it for about 3 minutes, and basically do the other 4 bases as well for about 3 minutes each until they're just starting to cook, and then you put the pizza sauce on and whatever toppings you want, which, as you can imagine, 5 people in this house have all got different tastes and are all going to want different toppings, which is a nightmare. So what you can do is get the family involved and get them putting their own toppings on the pizza bases as they come out of the oven, which is a lot of fun, and you make a bit of a party of it. So this is my pizza base that's been in the oven now for 3 minutes. So I'll get the sauce, spread it on. You can spread it on as thickly or as thinly as you want. So we quickly top these off and put them back in the oven for 5 minutes. And here we are, the finished product. It's absolutely delicious. So enjoy making your pizzas.